What up? What's going on? You can't reply. As ever, you can't reply, but you can send me a little message if you're really desperate to reply. What's been going on with you? With me? Nothing. I imagine with you, also nothing, given the state of the entire earth. I hope you're listening to this from one of those rare places where they're sort of getting on with things, aka not America or the UK or most of Europe. I basically mean, are you from New Zealand? If so, I hope you're having a lovely time, and please be safe and continue to make your country very, 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 very virus-free. Antivirus, New Zealand antivirus. I'm waffling, I've got nothing for you. I'm twitching. I'm a partner on Twitch. If you don't know what that means, you're too old, granddad, grandma, they. Yeah, so I've been on Twitch. I'm on there every day, 5 p.m. GMT. What do? We sort of look at YouTube. We watch drum videos. We watch not drum videos. We watch live at Woodstock videos and freak out about how close everyone is to each other. And then we talk about it in the Downbeat Discord. I'm trying not to make these things a big advert at the start. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. www.thedownbe.at. So it spells Downbeat if you want a t-shirt. Or the Patreon /the Downbeat if you want to give me a fucking quid. It's only a quid. Now, I feel okay about asking for £1 now because I thought about it. If you're listening to this, you must have quite a high-tech phone or the internet, which costs many pounds. I don't really want your money, but, you know, it'd be nice, maybe. God, that sounded bad, doesn't it? Please, sir. Money? Question mark? My guest this week is Johannes Persson of it sounds, in an English accent, it sounds like I'm just saying person. He's not a person, it's Persson, I believe. Like that little sort of Swedish twist on that. I sound like I'm in hit police drama, The Bridge. If you haven't seen The Bridge, fucking check that out. Anyway, my guest is Johannes from Cult of Luna. Basically what happened is they've got a new EP out, The Raging River, and before it came out, you know, I listened to them and talk about them a lot on the pod. I was like, I really want to listen to this early. I wonder if I can abuse my power and message someone and see if Johannes wants to come on the Downbeat and at the same time get the EP. And guess what? It worked. And now I'm going to do that all the time. You know what I'm like? I was like, wait, speaking of that, coughing. You hear that cough? I left that in there. Did a podcast with Daniel P. Carter recently on his swim podcast. And I realised when we were doing it, he mutes the mic when he coughs. And I thought, bloody hell, what a professional man that is. Anyway, back to Johannes. Plays in a band called Cult of Luna. I came up with some terms for them. It's quite kind of hard to fit them into a genre. Obviously, they're metal. But their new EP has some sort of delightful surprises on there. Mark Lanegan featuring on there. Mark Lanegan of Queens of the Stone Age and Lanegan Band fame, which is there's a pretty cool story behind that. We spent about 40 minutes talking about lifting weights, okay, and afterwards I immediately got off the phone to him and I ordered myself a bunch of weights for lockdown. So if you don't like lifting weights, I mean, there's parallels, isn't there, with lockdown and getting on with it. But it's about 35 minutes of that, so maybe skip to 35 minutes in if you want to hear the Cult of Luna shit. But I did this for me, not for you, so I don't care. What else we talk? I had loads of questions on their older stuff because I'm a bit of Cult of Luna nerd, and some of it he couldn't even remember. But there were some gems in there, some little Easter eggs to look out for in the recordings of other album tracks, like little things you can hear in the background, which I thought was really cool. I hope we became friends from this. As you can probably hear on these episodes where I don't know the people. At the beginning, it's like there's a sort of ice shield where they think, is this a professional thing? And then they slowly realise, not professional. And then they thaw and we have a lovely time. And I think that happened on this episode. Anyway, I had loads of fun. Thanks to Johannes for coming on and thanks to Alexis for sorting it out. It's Johannes Persson from Cult of Luna on the Downbeat podcast.
I debated giving you a really slow one to match your band. To do like a nice doomy count in, but it would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
How are you? Right, I'm going to get this right because every time I interview someone, I get their name wrong. So, Johannes, correct?
Yes.
Right, that's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter. I'm perfectly good. How are you? We don't know each other, do we?
I don't think so.
Well, we definitely don't know each other because the reason we're doing this, I don't think you know this.
No.
Is I love your band, and I talk about your band all the time on the podcast. There's a lot of people that have got into your band through the podcast, and usually it's like friends, people that are on sort of Slipknot's management, friends of friends, and basically the other day I decided I really wanted to hear your new album, and at the same time I could do with, just having a chat with you and hopefully becoming best friends. So I hit your management up and was just like, hey, this would be good for everyone.
Yes, it sounds like a solid plan.
And like I've lost count of the number of episodes where I just talk about Cult of Luna. So I've got questions.
Yeah. I mean, talking about something doesn't necessarily mean it's good. So you just...
I said nice things.
Yeah, okay, I'll take your word for it.
And do you know what? It was always because the podcast, it's very loose. It's not like, this isn't, we're at Hellfest and there's a press and you're doing like Johnny's blog and he's just asking, exactly. I heard you grumble.
Yeah, it's always good. It's always good fun, and you can hardly hear anyone because everybody. I mean, if the music isn't like too loud, there's too many people talking, and the questions are generic and
the questions are the fucking absolute worst. So the new album, a departure from the old stuff, but still the same as the old stuff. The same fucking questions. But I saw on your Instagram that you've been doing some lockdown lifting as well, and I was like, okay, I need this guy now. So we're gonna cover everything.
Are we gonna talk lifting? I warned people about talking lifting with me. I have my vent. I have my 2 group chats where we discuss all the aspects of lifting. Oh, by the way, my cat is going to disturb us 110%.
I don't care.
No, that's good.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, just so you know. And she okay. Yeah, so I have my 2 group chats where I vent all my lifting issues, and I warn everybody to bring up the subject because that's the only thing we're gonna be talking about.
That's good because I've had like, do you know who Bryce Krawcheck is?
No.
Calgary Barbell. He's a Canadian guy.
No.
Loves metal. Loves Cult of Luna actually. But we had him on the pod because he's a big metal fan, and he actually wrote me a plan to get out of. My training went to shit, and I was like, I'm going back to the gym after the first lockdown, and I was like, what do I do? And he just wrote me a plan, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So there's definitely lifter listeners, and I think people just like hearing that people have a hobby that isn't just music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I saw you've got like a bunch of bros, and you've got, what is it, a garage set up or somebody's?
Yeah, exactly. That was a friend, and it's a friend's garage, and we have a bunch of that's one of my crews, and the people in one of the group chats where we discuss the aspects of lifting heavy stuff. Actually, it's one of the old Cult of Luna members, Erik Olofsson. That still he does all the artwork still, and
sick.
And he's actually the one that got me under the barbell.
How long ago was that?
We have this tradition where we meet up during the summer and have one bottle of expensive wine. and he just got into lifting, and like I've been going to the gym pretty regularly for many years, but I've been doing a lot of cardios, CrossFit kind of stuff. And he kind of convinced me that I should try this. I mean, it's a program called 5x5. Basically, it is.
I know it.
Yeah, it's starting strength. Basically, yeah. And Mark,
go on, explain it.
Yeah,
come on, there's gonna be listeners that want to get into it.
Yeah. Starting strength. I think it's a book and a program, but by Mark Ripto, which basically is. The Bible for starting lifting free weights. And the thing with me is that I only do stuff with 110%. So
yeah,
I'm starting with the program, and I started to eat like 3,500 calories a day. Counting the calories and counting the protein and all that. And
MyFitnessPal. You got my FitnessPal app or one of those apps to track it?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
My man took it seriously.
Yeah. I really did, and I started doing some real progress, both in when it came to weight, but actually, both the weight that I lift and the scale. So I went actually. I started in September, and in December when we did the European tour, I kind of I didn't really felt comfortable in the mass. My body mass.
You cultivated too much mass.
Yeah, and I pretty much had reached my limit when it came to the 5x5 program. I still hadn't failed the squat yet, and I thought that okay, this is it. This is as strong as I'm ever going to be. Now it's time to lose the weight. So I started maybe. Around Christmas, I started to, do the travel back to my normal weight of 80. So I had to lose 16 kilos, which I did pretty fast. I mean, it's pretty easy. You instead of eating 3,500, I ate maybe like 2,000 and did my workouts.
And you lost a load of strength and you hated it. But
wait a second, because I didn't lose as much strength as I thought I would.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on. So hang on. How long ago was this?
This was pretty much exactly 1 year ago, give or take a couple of weeks.
And then
I started getting. Actually, when we got back from the US tour, which pretty much was exactly when COVID hit pretty bad, and I had a gym very close to my home, and I decided, okay, I'm not going to the office anymore. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to get really serious with the lifting. Yeah. So I started, I'm not a big sleeping person, so I don't need many hours of sleep. So I got up very early every morning, and I started doing this new program, which is basically, it's kind of a bodybuilding program. 5 days a week, one or two major muscle groups every day. And it takes maybe like 1.5 hours to go through, depending on the weeks. It's a 6-week circular program.
Has it got a specific name?
No, it's actually, I follow this app. It's called Strength Log, a Swedish app that's amazing. I mean, and I did the first 6-week program, and I immediately saw results, like visually. I saw muscles I hadn't seen before. And also I had lost 15, 16 kilos of weight too, which helps. And I continued, and I've been doing that every single day. Well, 5 days a week ever since then. So I hit this week. I started my 8th circle on the same program, and my goal is to do it for 1 year, and after that I might change to something different. And the thing is with these, I mean, it's not like it's not a strongman. It's not a
powerlifting.
No, it's not a powerlifting program, but I've pushed my 1 rep max quite a lot since last December, when I thought I had pretty much maxed out.
Yeah, because I saw some videos on your Instagram and I was like, oh shit, he's pushing some numbers.
Exactly.
Come on, let's talk numbers. Let's talk numbers.
Look,
what you got?
Exactly 1 year ago, I had this personal trainer for a while, and I told him that one thing that I really kind of regret is that I never, when I did this 5x5. 5x5 is basically you do. It's 5 called different lifts that you do 5 times. That's it. You do 5 reps, 5 sets. But I never tried my 1 rep max in any of the lifts. Not bench press or like normal press or deadlift or squat or anything. So I kind of regretted that. So he told me, okay, today we are going to do a 1 rep max deadlift. And I struggled, but I managed to get 180 kilos off the ground. And I really struggled to do that. Today I had my it was back day, so it was deadlift. So now when I get to my workouts weights, I do 1 set of 5 reps of 170 kilos, and then I do another one exactly like that, 5 rep 170 kilos. Then I do 480. And I
4
realized,
reps on 180 is fucking big boy shit.
And now I realized like I need to. I'm taking it too easy.
You got a 200 in there easily.
Well, I did during the Instagram thing when I did my 1 rep max. I actually managed to do 210, which
beast. Beast mode.
With my body weight is 80, so it's I should be pushing 3 times body weight in. Well, that.
I mean, that's like elite. That's elite people 3 times. I think. What was your squat? Is there 150 squat in there? Did I see?
No, I did 160 something. 165. Let me have a look. I'm gonna open the app.
Pull it up. Pull that shit right up. Because I remember seeing it and being like, oh, so now we're gonna have more than just music
and the thing is, I should. That's the first time I ever did like a 1 rep max on all 3 like powerlifting. What's it called? Lifts. Anyway, so after 3 hours, when we finally came to the deadlift, the next time I'm gonna eat between. So
3 fucking hours. Oh, you did it like an actual meet.
Yeah,
like all on the same day. Oh, you're a psycho. Yeah. I love it.
Hold on here. I'm gonna see. Opening up right now. I need to go back to 2020. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Sunday the 27th of December. Yeah, so I did 162.5 kilos on squat. I did 120 kilos bench press, but I have I think I have the biggest. I think I could do way more if I ever get my shoulder fixed, because I have some problem with that. And then after that, I did 210 kilos in deadlift.
That's a fucking impressive. At 80 kilos, that is fucking impressive. I think my best ever was 200 deadlift, 170 squat, and a 130 bench. But I was 86 kilos. So that's 6 kilos is a lot of body weight more.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that I think is seriously interesting is that all these I would say my progress. I mean, it has just like taken less than 1 year. Like 1 year ago, I struggled to do 180, and now I did today. Today I did four times 180, and I really need to add more weight next week.
Okay, I'm gonna seamlessly throw this into the music world here. Do you think maybe your progress being so much in just a year is because for every other year of your life when you've been lifting, there's been tours that fuck up your training?
It doesn't anymore, because we the last couple of tours we've done, we've managed to find gyms in every city, which has been an amazing experience, I must say. You see the world in completely in like aspects of the world that that I've never seen before, and you see the different qualities of each city. Well, the quality of the gym the different cities have. Milan has the most horrible gym I ever went to.
Where?
In Milan, in Italy.
Oh my god! I've probably been to the same gym. I was gonna say Sweden. Actually, one of the best gyms I've ever been to was in. I'm gonna say it right, Örebro.
Yeah.
One of the best gyms I've ever been to. Just full like Eleiko like gear to the max, fucking incredible. And then Spain, I went to one in Nairobi, Kenya, and I scraped a deadlift bar up my fucking leg in Kenya.
Yeah, that can happen.
It was not the most hygienic.
Oh no, I can understand. The last gym I went to on tour was when we played Mexico City.
Wow!
In March. I think my gym shorts. I busted them up pretty bad when I did the squat. I mean, they ripped through underwear. Fully exposed. But the good thing about being in like a foreign country, okay, if this would have been like Sweden, Stockholm, or where I lived, it would be a bit embarrassing. But I'm not gonna see anyone again ever.
You get that tour mentality.
Yeah,
I get that as well.
I don't care. I need to do the full program before I kind of wave the white flag. I'm not gonna do it because of a ripped gym shorts. The program needs to be finished.
It needs to be completed. I meant like when I go on tour, even I will try and find a gym every day because it just helps my mental state with touring. It helps me limber up before playing or whatever. But eating wise, I can never eat enough calories on tour. I always come home, my strength's gone.
Well, calories is not a problem, at least not for us. Protein is a problem. I mean, we're all, or most of us are vegetarian, which is kind of leaves us with pasta and white bread and wine.
The Euro vegetarian catering.
Yeah,
that tofu curry that they all just put a block of tofu, water, and then some sort of fucking spice. Here you go, guys. Yeah. It's all vegan. All right, it all sucks.
Yeah, if you're lucky. I mean, I would be happy to get some tofu. But I bring tons of protein powder.
What's your go-to protein as a veggie then?
I mean, you could have a normal whey powder, but there's tons of them. I mean, you have powder made out of peas, and like I don't care as long as it contains enough protein. I don't care where the source is. I did a 3-month. In a minute, I'm going to start talking about music, or else people will be like, "Oh, you didn't talk about fucking the new album." My biggest bench ever, I did 3 months of going vegan, and my biggest bench ever was at the end, and I did a testosterone check and an estrogen check before and afterwards, because I just did a test, because the media will go, "Oh, soy increases estrogen," and so I tested my estrogen before, and I tested it after 3 months of stone cold vegan, and my estrogen was actually lower, and I benched the most I've ever lifted in my life. So just for the naysayers, that kind of opened my eyes to like, okay, I can eat a lot more vegan food. Oh yeah, definitely. I think. I mean, it's a tough topic. I'm not a fan of people saying that, like, over exaggerating the pros of being a vegan. And there was some documentary that I'm not sure if it was really science based. For real, I can't remember it. Like for me, it's not. I mean, basically, just from a workout and like if you want to make progress when it comes to your weightlifting, you need to keep your macros and keep track of that. And for the animals, I would suggest going on a vegetarian or vegan diet. That's my only concern when it comes to that. But basically, just
animals, not the planet as well. You're strictly animals.
Yeah, the planet, of course. I mean, the way we have been living in the Western world for the last 150 years. I mean, it's not sustainable, and we all know that. It's not a matter. You can think whatever you like about animal rights, but your meat consumption needs to go down. That's not.
Yeah, it's proven.
It's not an opinion; it's a fact. And but that's just how it is, and you can.
People don't want to hear it, though.
Ignore it. Well, no, exactly. I think that's it. I think, look, I've been debating this issue for 25 years, and I think I've learned the hard way that it's not. People get personally offended when you start talking about these issues, and I understand that, and they feel personally attacked, and in some sense, yes, they are, but I think it's more. I mean, in the past, I was pretty much demanding that everybody would turn vegan, and if it was that or nothing. But I think that right now I'm more of a. You can at least try for your own health to eat less, and for the planet. I mean, we do need to start thinking of and conserving energy. And it's a very energy wasting way of consuming protein, for sure.
There's like, the thing I'm trying to do is, so I'm basically trying to make it cool to still eat meat, but not eat that much at all. So I eat because we know the figures are there. Like, if we don't reverse this, we're all fucked. All the animals, all the people. So what I'm trying to do, because after I did the 3 months vegan, I was like, okay, this fucking rips. And then I did all of last year vegetarian. And then now I'm like, I'm trying to make it so it's like, I think particularly in, I don't want to say America, but I'm going to say America. There's like bacon culture. Do you know what I mean? Where everyone's just like, oh, but bro, bacon. And I'm trying to make it like, I don't want to say manly, but like cool to fucking not eat fucking shitloads of bacon. Like, that's why I did the test with the estrogen to like prove all I fucking ate was soy pretty much. Didn't affect me at all.
Exactly. And I think the best way you can do, and that's the thing that I've learned through the years, is that the best way of if you want to convince people or something, the most important thing is that you are a good example of the point you want to make, and that's the problem with a lot of vegans these days, that they're not a good example, and they kind of shun people away from the whole aspect. And I understand. I mean, I hate vegans too.
Yeah, the misinformation in the documentary you were talking about, like, that doesn't help the fucking cause, because people just go, okay, you're all full of shit.
Yeah, and people, and a lot of people that turn vegan act like they've just been, in a cultish way, just been saved, and they found the answer to everything. And I just get tired of listening to that. I'm tired of that kind of personality. It doesn't matter if you're religious or if you just. That kind of a black and white mentality, do you think it's getting old? Do you think you're getting old? Because I was like that with atheism. I used to be a little cunt with atheism. I was insane, and now I'm like, actually, just do what you want. Yeah, look, I'm as guilty of that as you. I was, and I'm still a very outspoken atheist, but I'm not as aggressive as I used to be. Like, my dad he's religious, and I kind of came to the point, like, look, you have your opinion, I have mine, and let's, like, we need to have a relationship as a dad and a son, and as a family. We just need to put these issues aside. I'm not like you have your traditions, and you have your a way of looking at life, and as long as you're a nice person, I'm not gonna get in your way. I do think that religion is probably the worst aspect of human culture, and probably caused most basically. Has dragged humanity. Let's say pulled away humanity from living up to our full potential, basically.
Yeah, stopped us progressing.
Yes, without a doubt. But as you said, if people are just nice and not keeping their religion to themselves, I'm not gonna get up in their faces.
But you used to, because I used to. I can hear it. And then, to be honest with you, almost like what you're saying about the vegan people, like, people like, I used to love fucking Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins and stuff, and then Richard Dawkins just got on his fucking high horse so much. I don't know if you know him. You obviously do if you're an atheist.
I do, of course. Yeah.
And I was just like, I fucking hate this guy. I kind of want to separate myself from him. I was like, you know what? Everyone just do what you want. I think you're an idiot, but do what you want.
Yeah, sure. But the thing is, and what people don't understand, the problem is when you start idolizing people and put them on a pedestal and all that. Like, I do think, like Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris, I definitely think that they. I like them in some. When it comes to some aspects, they make really good points, but they can still be assholes. I mean, there's no. I mean, that's the thing when you learn to see life in grayscale. You can still appreciate a person for what they do in some aspects, and then in other aspects they're just piece of shits. So like I still, I mean, I've always in some sense been an atheist because I've never been a believer, but I think Richard Dawkins' work pretty much, you know, made me. I was able to verbalize my thoughts in a better way after reading him, for example, and Sam Harris, and one of my personal favorites, Christopher Hitchens, of course, which.
That's the thing about Christopher Hitchens as well, though. Like, again, when I was a kid, I loved his shit. God Is Not Great is Christopher Hitchens, yeah? And then I heard about his views on the Iraq War, and I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? And I was just like, and obviously I know literally everything you just said about grayscale and everything, but fuck, some stuff just puts me right off someone.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't agree with him on that issue. No big deal.
When I was a kid, like you said, you nailed it before I even said it. I idolized him when I was a kid, and then so yeah, that be a lesson. Anyone who's listening, just be skeptical of everyone.
Yeah, be skeptical of anyone talking fast with convictions, because that's one thing that I've seen, and it can be about pretty much any issue. People that talk fast with conviction are usually get a lot of followers, because they talk so fast that there's no room for contemplating what they actually are saying. If you boil down what are they saying, if you would have it in writing and you just read it instead in your own pace, you would see the gaps, you would see the flaws in their arguments. But because they talk so fast, I mean, we have Trump, for example. That's a perfect example of a guy just talking so fast, not hesitating for 1 second.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense, like no sense at all. He contradicts himself, and if you point it out, he will tell you to fuck off. And those people are very dangerous, and not like, I mean, those people are that kind of a personalities. We all know these kind of people because they are in our personal life too. I just talked today. I had a chat with a friend about people in in the group. In my I would say some kind of a friendship circle of people that are just living at the moment and just talking, and if they find a hurdle, they will say anything to get past that, and they don't even contemplate that they're lying. It just the
rate of talking thing, you've really fucking just opened a bit of my brain there, because everyone that I can think of in my daily life who speaks very fast and with conviction, I don't believe a word they say, and they're very well rehearsed, and that's true literally everywhere.
Yeah, have you ever talked directly to a real conspiracy theorist?
Yes, I have been involved. I was in a band with one, and
I'm
exactly
sorry.
Exactly the same thing. I mean, that's a story for another time, but went on to steal some money off people and stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is with those people is that you could actually set a clock to the way they how their argument goes, because it's impossible to get them to stop. It's impossible to just stay at one point to one conspiracy, because they always move forward. It's like trying to catch like a slippery eel or something like that, because you will always be a step behind. They said something totally crazy, and when you're trying to point that out, they're in a completely different direction, and they continue and they continue and continue, and you know how it always ends. Some of my friends that are less experienced with conspiracy theorists than I am, I've had a couple of them ask me how they should confront their friend or whatever. I always say this, is that just let them talk, and sooner or later they will come to the point where everything is the Jews' fault. It's all about the Jews in the end.
With conspiracy theories, people, it's crazy.
Yes. I mean, just let them talk, and they'll get to the Jews sooner or later, and then you'll just tell them to fuck off.
Isn't it insane, though? Like,
yeah,
it's honestly, this is totally off tangent, right? My dad's really into poetry, and he's on like poetry fucking Facebook groups and shit, talking about Keats and all this shit. And there's some guy piled in, and with a huge, supposedly like a conversation about like a piece of Keats's work or Shelley's work or something, and then it was like riddled with holes, and a few people said like this is not entirely accurate, and the guy just keeps going and going, and then ends up talking about the Jews.
Yes.
Like, what? Why? Where does it come from?
The hatred of the Jews.
I mean, I know, but like, why is it always there? Can't we just get rid of that? This is a fucking deep podcast. We haven't even talked about your album.
No. But I think hatred of the Jews runs really deep in Western culture, because we come from a Christian culture, and it doesn't matter if you're right wing or left wing. It's something that is, first of all, it's really scary, and like, you know, I grew up during the 80s and 90s where you thought that these kind of things it was something from the past, but I've been more and more aware of that all these thoughts, it's kind of, you know, they're still there, and we shouldn't even start talking about the Muslim world, about the hatred of the Jews there. It's quite depressing.
Yeah, you've really brought the fucking tone down here, Johannes.
Yeah.
We were talking about lifting. We were having a lovely time.
Should we go back to the the deadlift?
No, we should probably start talking about music, because I think 43 minutes. I think you've even outdone a championship world record holding Canadian powerlifter with the amount of lifting talk. So, well done on that. I'm going to tell you a little story of me when I was. When did Somewhere Along the Highway come out?
2006.
2006, right. So I should know that, but really, I'm not a fucking interviewer. I'm a guy that likes your band and happens to have a podcast. So I had a party at my parents' house when they were on holiday in 2006. And the house, my parents listen to the podcast as well, so they will hear this. But the house got fucking pretty fucked up. And someone at the party brought that album that they'd just bought, Somewhere Along the Highway, and I'd never heard Cult of Luna before, and everyone had left the next day, and I was fucking super depressed. Like, all right, you know, I don't have to talk about what could possibly make you depressed the day after a party, but I was pretty fucking depressed, and that they left that CD, and I put it on when I was cleaning my house, and I was like, oh my fucking God. This is the best thing I've ever heard. It was the first time I hadn't heard any kind of like, I don't know if you hate this term, but like post-metal or, you know, anything like that. I hadn't heard anything. I think I'd heard Godflesh by that point, but nothing like what you would consider like Cult of Luna, ISIS, in, you know, that realm. And I put it on and I was like, now when I look back at it, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it's because the angry to sad ratio exactly sums up what happens in my head on a daily basis. Like the melancholy, that's the right word there. And I was fucking just massively hooked from then. And I think I had a little cry. I think I can tell you I had a little cry on that. And I've followed since every fucking album, every iteration since then. And I kind of want to know, I don't want to drop it on you, but by the end of this, I want to know like some of your biggest influences of all time. I'm not going to drop it on you right now. I'm going to give you the rest of the talk to sort of think about that. And fuck, I don't know. I just wanted to tell you that little fucking story and then just talk about your band a bit. How is it? How is your band? Are you good?
We're good. Very good. I think we're better than ever in some senses. I just 6 months ago I moved back to my hometown of Umeå, which makes practicing much easier. And we got a new studio, and so instead of me traveling from Stockholm, doing these massive weekends of just practicing for 8 hours a day, which we practiced for 2 hours and just chewed the fat for 6 hours. Now we can practice just 1 hour here, 1 hour there. I just came from the studio right now from band practice.
You're still practicing, even though there's no. I mean, I guess you have an album out, but you got no gigs, but you're still just having a band practice.
Yeah, I mean, you need to do something, right? I mean,
I mean, the rest of my band is in America, so I do nothing. But yeah, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the situation we've been in for 13 years. I mean, it was not an ocean between us, but it might as well be 8 hours by train. So
that's more than the flight. So yeah, exactly
no, so it's better than ever, and we can meet up and hang out and I mean, these band practices that we had before, I mean, there was always so much pressure involved because we only had maybe 4 band practices before we had to go into the studio, so we had to get things done. Now we can pretty much work in our own pace. So, yeah.
So if you had to... better than ever? I don't want to cut you up. Fuck yeah. So for people that don't know Cult of Luna, if you, let's say you're at like a Christmas dinner and there's somebody's grandma's there. No, let's not go grandma. Someone's like parent is there and they don't know anything about your band. How are you describing Cult of Luna?
I prefer not to.
Okay, well, in that setting?
Because there's always somebody that can do it for me.
But I don't want to do it. I want you to do it. So what, would you say metal band if someone didn't know anything?
Yeah. It's metal. I'm screaming. That's
okay,
it.
And then they go, like Metallica, and then you say,
well, yeah. That's happened a bunch of times, and I say yes because
I'm the same.
Because if that's the response I get, they do not understand the subgenres of metal, so they don't really care, and they just want to be nice. I'm not gonna introduce them to all these subgenres of heavy music. They can listen to themselves.
Okay, so what if the person says, "Oh, what, like stoner metal?"
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then what are you gonna say? Are you just gonna agree, or are you gonna?
Yeah, like I don't have an ambition to educate people, and I don't really if people don't know my band and they don't look like they would appreciate it, I'm not that keen of talking about it. We can talk about something different. Maybe they're golfing. They can tell me about golf instead, or something.
Golf and Metallica.
Yeah.
Okay, so George, you want me to explain your band then?
Oh, was that where you were aiming? Yes.
Yeah, I was doing a fucking bit, but it became a funnier bit. So, fuck. Now that I'm not an actual podcaster, I just like music, and also now you're so fuck. I think if I had to coin a new term for your band, I would call it progressive doom. Because
I'll put that on the pile of different.
Has it been said before?
I don't think so. But
Fuck
a lot
put it on the pile.
But a lot of things have been said, especially at the start when we released the first couple of albums. We had a couple of good laughs of people trying to describe it. Always been like dark, industrial. I think there was some kind of vampire. Yeah, it was so weird.
Okay, I'm going with vampire then.
Vampire metal. But I think we progress a bit.
Now you're progressive. Yeah, vampcore.
Look, it's heavy. It's heavy, and I think it's heavy in many aspects of the word. I mean, the definition of the word heavy. I mean, even though we do have a bunch of softer songs, I think there could be a case that they're pretty heavy, at least when it comes to where they hit emotionally, maybe, hopefully.
I think the light, the lux a tenebris, if you want to go fucking, what's that? Is that Latin? Light and dark. I think that is what Somewhere Along the Highway just fucking blew me away, because I was just like, I don't think I'd heard. Oh, so obviously like the song Finland, the melody and the quote unquote nice parts. I mean, I'm someone that at that point I just listened to death metal. That was it. So the quote-unquote nice parts next to the heavy parts, I'd never heard it done like that before. Even like I'd heard Neurosis, that people always compare to Neurosis, but Neurosis isn't as melodic in their lighter parts. Even later, or that sort of mid-era Neurosis, the light parts, I don't want to call them light in case I offend you.
No, but I think people understand.
Yeah, melodic shit. If I had to say, let's turn it this way. If I had to sum up your band, I would call it, okay, I'm going to change it. I'm no longer calling it post-vamp doom, and it's no longer called progressive doom. It's called Christopher Nolan core. Because it's like, like a Christopher Nolan story, multifaceted. There's a lot of different things going on at once, and then it always culminates in the most insane ending.
That was not a bad description, actually. I think I might hold on to that.
Christopher Nolan core, top of the fucking pile.
I think that Somewhere Along the Highway, that was the first time that we actually had to have like a whiteboard and just to sort out what guitar played what and how the transitions was going to how they would transition into each other, just so we knew who should play what.
Wait, what? Salvation didn't have the structure?
It did, but it wasn't that multi-layered.
Yeah, it does pick up a fucking notch.
Yeah, and I think that's really where we found our way of doing the things that we're still doing. That's also when we kind of finally had the setup that we do now.
Go on. Actually, explain the setup, please.
No, but I think that's the first time we started writing with 3 guitars, and had and where the electronic parts were more structured and more integrated in the music, more than just being some kind of background. We kind of, I mean, we pushed forward the melodic aspects of what we were doing, like the melodic instruments a bit, and maybe that's probably it. And the funny thing about that record is that it was written really, really fast. We had like a couple of weeks before we planned to enter the studio, and that's the beauty of just writing straight from the heart or straight from the hip. We didn't have time to think that much, and I think that can be a very good thing.
Yeah, if you got too many fucking demos that sound pretty good, and then you sit on them for a while, you're like, oh, maybe I could tweak this bit, maybe this could go here, and then you end up fucking it up.
Yeah, but you could always do that. I think also the recording process, we basically went out to this cabin and recorded as much as we could live. And early on, when we did the second album, The Beyond, we for the first time we actually got some quality like studio time. We had pretty much had unlimited studio time, and we did the most massive album we could ever do. And I did retake after retake with different amps to get the fattest guitar sound as possible. I think that, I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of taste here. But I enjoy when the recording is capturing a moment instead of doing a perfect album, because a perfect album can be recorded now or in 10 years. It would sound exactly the same. So basically, for the last couple of albums, I've said to Magnus that records pretty much all our stuff is, okay, look, I'm gonna play this twice, and if there's anything that is not sound perfect, I mean, I don't care. That's what's going to get on the album. And if we have some weird noise from the guitar or from the strings or whatever, that's the way I want it. I want it to sound. I want it to be a recording from this moment, not like a perfect playthrough. And the way I play guitar, it never becomes perfect, because I'm not that good of a guitar player.
Do you record like to analog gear? Your albums always sound analog as fuck, but I know these days that can be emulated.
No, we don't. I mean, to be honest, we don't.
Even like Eternal Kingdom sounds like it was recorded onto fucking wood. And I don't know if that's maybe like I'm just, the whole imagery and the story and shit, I'm just like sold on it. But it sounds so analog. You're telling me that as a PC?
I guess. I don't know anything about recording, to be honest. The thing is, I don't remember much from that recording. The only thing I do remember, like the only clear memory I have, is that I recorded this it's kind of an instrumental track called Ugin. It's basically some kind of a guitar solo-ish thing, and that I did in one take. It was during the middle of the night, and I only had like one lit candle next to me, so that's probably why I remember it, because it was so. I wasn't trying to capture the atmosphere, but the atmosphere kind of got captivated in that piece of music or song or whatever you want to call it.
Oh man, that's cool. The track, the second to last track.
I'll take your word for it. I think so. It's just kind of a
weird noise and guitar shit, and then it goes.
Yes,
come on,
yes,
yeah, okay. I know your fucking band better than you know your band. That's cool. For me, right? For me, just getting that little bit of knowledge of how you recorded that, like something that I've listened to a fucking million times in the van. This podcast is all worthwhile. I don't give a fuck if people got bored with the lifting stuff. I learned something nice.
Yeah, that was. I mean, we've had a couple of memorable recordings. I remember we did, and with There Came the Birds in that cottage.
Yeah.
And if you listen really, really, really carefully at the start of that song, we had some mics outside of the cottage, and after the first chord, you can hear some like watery noise. It's actually water, like melting water from the roof going down just next to the mic. And I think we did that in one take too.
Oh my god, correctly. Little fucking Easter eggs. I love it. Honestly, I think that's the song I cried to as well. That's what I was talking about earlier. I think that's the fucking cry song.
Yeah, I really enjoy that song too. It's one of the...
that song fucking is amazing. Yeah. That can bring me really nicely onto actually what you're supposed to be promoting, The Raging River. Okay, so is it track 3 with the fucking the singing? Who is it?
Okay, come on.
I mean,
no.
I recognize the voice, but I don't want to offend you. I don't actually do it like press. This isn't press. I've never really had anyone on that I have to listen to the album or get a press release or fucking read it or anything. I don't want to offend you by saying if it's you singing and you're trying to sound like him. I don't want to say, and then you go, that's the first time anyone said it sounds like him.
No.
It's Mark Lanegan.
Yeah, it's Mark Lanegan. I was just about to say, if you don't recognize that voice, then you're in a very fortunate position of not knowing his back catalog or what he's done, and then you have a whole world of amazing music to discover.
I didn't want to because some people, I can't remember who did it. Someone actually, the Scott Kelly voice. I can't remember what band it is. They did it so well, and I was like, that must be Scott Kelly, and it fucking wasn't. I mean, luckily I wasn't talking to them. Be like, you got Scott Kelly on the track. Like, oh no, actually, that was just me. So it is him. It's not you. How the fuck did that happen? Okay,
so the whole story is that we just talked about "And With Her Came the Birds," which we wrote in 2005, I think, which is now 16 years ago. And when we wrote that, we weren't literally kids, but we were kids. We were 20-ish something, and with no self-confidence or anything like that. And when we wrote that song, I had been listening to the Mark Lanegan album Bubblegum, which is one of my absolute favorite albums of all time. And we talked about that song, and that Mark's voice would be perfect on it. And we called the song actually the Lanegan song when we it was like a working title when we were practicing and all that. But at that point, it was a fantasy. In no way, shape, or form would we ever even know where to turn. And it was not even. It was just, like I said, it was just a fantasy. We never ever would even contemplate to ask him, because we didn't even know who to turn to, or we didn't have the confidence. 15 years down the road though. So this song, we recorded it in Norway during the Adonte Fair session, and pretty much, well, not all of the songs, but a few of the songs were we kind of started the recording of them during the same session as Adonte Fair, and when we got back and kind of started to talk about reworking them, because at that point we felt like they didn't really live up to their full potential. So when we got to that song, it just popped up in my head. Maybe this is the song where we going to finally ask Mark Lanegan to sing. And now come the boring part about managers talking to managers. But I just texted our manager and asked him, "Do you know anyone that knows Mark?" And it was a half joke. I never thought it would nothing would come out of it. So, but I got an answer that he knows his manager really well, and could he ask him maybe? And after that, things progressed pretty fast. He got the song and said that he would do it, and finally we got a direct contact through email. And he sent me this nice email that he listened to the song and he would gladly do it. And I had a lot of things to do at that time, and I really wanted to send him a really nice email. So it took me maybe a week to answer, and I asked him, "Do you want to write the lyrics, or do you want me to write the lyrics? Like, you're free to do whatever you want. This is like the basic idea that we've had." And I got an answer within a couple of hours, where he said that he had already recorded the song the same day he got it, and he cannot do any retakes because they torn down the studio. He moved away from the house, and he didn't even have access to internet. So a friend of his was going to send the song later that night, and he just said, "If you like it, that's perfect. If you don't like it, you can just throw it away." And I enjoy doing it. And a couple of hours later, we got the song. I listened to it, and that guy doesn't need to do any retakes.
That's so sick. So he just gave it to you and was like, "Here it is. You either like it or you don't."
Yeah, basically.
And it's fucking unreal. And the track after it as well, I don't know the names. I'm not a fucking professional. The track that comes after it is my favorite on the... I guess you're calling it an EP, but it's actually 8 minutes longer than our last album is. So...
it's definitely an EP for us.
But the track after it is my favorite, and I think the way the two go together is fucking unreal.
I think it's called "I Remember."
Yeah, inside of a dream, and I remember. I now remember.
Yeah.
So, did his lyrical content does it work with what you had in mind?
The thing is, it worked perfectly, because I for the last couple of years, I worked from a completely different. I've had a completely different process than earlier. I mean, I would say from our second. I mean, the first album that we released, that was basically the bunch of songs that we had at that point. The second album and onward, we have worked. We have had a process where we, from the start, have had some kind of a story or a narrative that we wanted to tell, and then we have tried to adapt all the aspects of an album to that story. I mean, the songwriting, the recording process, the arrangements, the production, the artwork, when we've done music videos, and every aspect of the album should fall in line with the basic idea or the basic narrative. And they've been very different from album to album, up until the Mariner album we did with Julie Christmas. But after that, the thing, and you probably know this as well as I do, the longer you're an active musician, the harder and harder it gets, first off, to write music, because you pretty much used up all the ideas, and you have fewer and fewer roads to take, because you've used up a lot of the things that you could have done. And I kind of took a completely different approach to writing after Mariner, and that's I started noticing things that changed in my personal life, like how I value stuff, or what I think is important in life, for example. And the change has been so gradual that I didn't notice it until I was at the different, in a different position than I was earlier. For example, I never even contemplating moving from Stockholm, and that was out of the question a couple of years ago. But a few years ago, I couldn't stand Stockholm and couldn't wait to get out of it. And that gradual change, because that comes from things that I've started valuing other stuff than just my professional career, for example. So anyway, I started noticing these kind of changes in my life, and I thought, okay, what would happen if I didn't plan anything? If I would just write on instinct. But what would happen if I would sit down with a guitar and just play the first thing that came to mind and keep it, not throw it away? And what would happen if I sat down and wrote a line of lyric, and I wrote another one and another one and another one, I wouldn't say on chance, but just on instinct. And then after the work is done, I take a step back and try to make sense of it. And it was such an interesting experience, and it kind of the reward was way bigger than I thought, because things that seemed to be random wasn't, and I could see very clearly, okay, these couple of lines I wrote pretty much in a period where I was thinking about this or that. So it was, I do the analogy that earlier albums we kind of had, if you think of it as a jigsaw puzzle, and we knew what picture we wanted to create, so we created all these pieces, the writing and artwork and all that to fit that puzzle. But this time we started with the pieces, and then we took a step back and tried to make sense of what picture it's supposed to look like.
Almost like abstract art, it's from the subconscious to an extent.
Yes, but it doesn't get abstract, because when it comes to the human mind, nothing comes from nothing. So everything that I write must come from some process in my brain, right? Yeah. So that's why a lot of these lyrics make perfect sense with a little distance to it. So and that's pretty much what we've been doing ever since. And I think it's still an interesting way of working, and I'm not I do not like exclude the possibility of maybe going back to writing more from a already made up narrative, but right now it feels still new and fresh and interesting, and for me it's been very important to at least feel like there's some momentum in our the way we write, and that something happened. And I don't really care if somebody would say that you sound exactly like you did on the last 3 albums, so that doesn't bother me, as long as I feel that we're covering new ground, or that we find inspiration from different sources. As long as I feel that we're moving, that's as long as I feel that, I'm gonna continue doing it. But if I feel that I'm stagnating and can't come up with anything new, then I'm gonna take a break until I find a way of doing it in a new way.
It's funny that you worry about stagnating, when I think of your band as like a sprawling, gigantic amount of ideas, and you're worrying, not worrying, but like, you're aware that people might be thinking that. I personally, with the new one, it gave me more, I know you said it was recorded at the same time, it gave me more vibe-wise, it gave me more Eternal Kingdom than the last album.
Yeah, look, just so you get your fact right. So this kind of process, it created some kind of a creative explosion. So we had a lot of music going into the studio. A lot. But pretty early on, you feel that, you have some limitations when it comes to an album. Of course, you could release a 5-hour long album if you, there's no record label for good reason that wouldn't release it.
Well, you made your own. Maybe that's why you did it. Next album, 5 hours long.
No, it's too long for me. But we had a lot of music, and with the limitations that we did have, but also when it comes to what kind of material that we can now allow ourselves to release, we thought that there were a few songs that we needed to work on that weren't really, like I said, they hadn't really lived up to their full potential just yet, but they will. They would as soon as we could, started to reevaluate them, and maybe in some songs maybe take away a few aspects, and in some songs maybe add something that we felt were lacking. And that's actually what we had time with now, with when everything got cancelled. So, and also we continued writing, so not all the songs that you have on that EP is quote unquote old. There's some.
Did I offend you there? Have I offended you with that?
I'm very hard to offend. I can tell you that. No.
You know what I meant. I know that songs we're the same. We got songs that are on our last album that were terrible songs from the writing process for the one before, and then you sit on it for 2 years, most of it changes, and then it comes out something else, but the demo name is always still the same.
It is.
We just put a 2 next to it. If it was called whatever, and then it was like, that didn't really work. Okay, let's try and rework that song, and then you just put a 2 next to it.
Yeah, I think it's important to name the songs correctly as soon as possible, because the working title is going to stick.
Oh man,
and
titles are horrible.
Yeah, and then you have. you do interviews and you don't know the songs that people are talking about because you think of them as heavy song 3.
I did like a drum stream the other day on Twitch, and there was people requesting, like, I did a prog rock album with Josh from Silosis, and people were requesting songs from it, and I was like, do you mean Number One Handsome Man or Swingers Club? And they have no idea what I'm fucking talking about, and they're calling it like 62 Moons or some fucking something that came long after I'd recorded the drums on the album. I have no idea of any of the fucking song names. God, give me a ridiculous Cult of Luna. You've already given me Lanegan song. Have you had another like stupid demo title for a Cult of Luna song that you can just give me that little tidbit?
I can't think of any.
I want to know that like Alwood was called fucking Hoot or something.
No, I mean that was too long ago. Like, look, I hardly remember what I ate this morning.
Well, what did you eat this morning? Let's start there.
Porridge.
Nice. What was in it? Just strictly porridge?
Yeah, and then some protein powder, and then I went to...
What flavour?
Is it strawberry? Yeah, I think it's some berry.
I had the same breakfast, but with vanilla. We're breakfast bros.
Yeah, but I'm not big on vanilla, though. My son is, I don't know, he has like the most boring taste in ice cream. Like he loves vanilla. That's it. He doesn't want any other taste.
Yeah, but the thing with vanilla, it's such a good base. So like, if I'm having porridge, if I get a protein powder, I'm always getting vanilla, because if I want to add chocolate, I can just add a bit in. If you add chocolate to your strawberry shit, you're a psychopath.
Yeah. That's definitely, you should be locked in a mental institution or something like that. That's the craziest thing I ever heard. Strawberry and chocolate. Yeah.
I can't do orange and chocolate either. I know that's a big thing. I just fucking hate it.
Yeah, no working titles. Nice
one, thank you. Getting it back on track.
Well, I mean, no. Oh, now I remember. We've had. I don't know. We've had a thing for. I don't know why we call it, and we called a bunch of songs like Dark Rodeo 1, Dark Rodeo 2, Dark Rodeo 3 for when we wrote A Dawn to Fear. But yeah, I forgot which was which.
That's fine. That doesn't matter. I've got one question that if I don't ask you, like, people probably fucking hate me because I'm just asking you questions that I want to know. I promise you I'm not like a sweaty little fan. I actually don't really fucking like many bands. So it's nice to like a band that's still going. I'm one of those people. But what I need to ask you, because it's my favourite moment of fucking Cult of Luna, and you do it quite a lot. It's kind of your like go-to thing. I mean, not go-to, but... you know what I mean? The melody at the beginning of track 1 on Vertical, when it comes back but heavy. I made a meme of that on Twitter a while back, and it got semi-viral. And it was just like, it was a screenshot from a porno with subtitles, and it said, when Cult of Luna bring the melody from the first song back in the last song, but it's heavy. And it was just a screenshot from a porno with someone saying, oh, fuck, it's so big.
Have you noticed that melody is actually in more songs? It comes
back. I know, it comes back again in that fucking... Is it A Dawn to Fear? There's a song on there.
No. I think it's that melody is on 3 songs on Vertical. But in... one of the songs, there's different. It's under a different chord progression, so maybe it's why it's not that obvious. Let me have a look.
On the new EP.
No.
I'm Vertical. Sure on the Dawn to Fear it comes back for like a tiny split second.
Yeah, maybe it does. I can hardly remember, but I know. I'm looking at my Spotify.
It's definitely account. On a different album, isn't it? Because I remember fucking shitting myself.
Oh, you can hear my daughter. She's talking in her sleep.
Really?
Yeah. She has this night fright when she was a kid. She was like waking up screaming for 3 hours straight, and now she's 8, and she's not. She wakes up every night talking, and yeah, she doesn't remember anything the next morning, but it must be. If you hear somebody scream in the background, it's
That's
her.
fine.
Yeah, so Vertical, I have it on Spotify. You have that melody on the one.
Yeah.
I think it's on Synchronicity and Passing Through.
Yeah, it's heavy on Synchronicity, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
And then I'm sure it comes back. Maybe it's just an accident. Somewhere on A Dawn to Fear, there's a shimmer of it. I think I lost you for a minute on my phone.
Yes, I lost you too.
Oh, we're good. We're back. I think it comes back for like a shimmer somewhere on there, or something similar, and similar enough for me to be like, oh my god, you know, like in like a fucking sequel when they mention something from the first film. I'm like, I know, I got that.
I kind of like doing references to like connecting stuff. I've done that in the past when it comes to lyrics, for example, especially when I feel there's a connection, thematical connection between, the two. So, I mean, it's more of, this is a very cliche, boring answer, but I view our albums more as stories than actual, just music. So I like doing, small references, and we're still working with that attitude. We'll see what will come in the future for the next, whatever we're gonna do next. But yeah,
fuck yeah. I'm gonna begin the wind down, so you don't think I'm being rude, but my fucking headphones are going to run out of battery, and we got an hour and a half. But so the Raging River is coming out on Friday. This is when I do my actual professional thing, the 5th of February, correct? And it's on your own label.
Yes.
Well, how did that happen? Who pissed you off? Earache, because they piss everyone off.
Okay, look. No, nobody pissed us off, and I think that when it comes to Earache, I mean, I have pretty much nothing negative to say about them.
I don't either. I just know there's a lot of people out there.
There's a lot of people pissed off, and I think it, in some sense, that kind of, it can become like a self-playing piano. People know that it's a label you should talk shit about, and so everybody gets on the train. But I mean, we were young and stupid and signed a not so good contract. But I mean, look, why should we blame them? And
is that what everyone's doing? Because I don't know. I just see the trash. All I do is I see the trash, and I see some of my favorite bands' albums not on fucking Spotify, and I have to dig the CD out if I want to listen to them.
Okay, yeah, but I have nothing. I mean, if it wasn't for them, we would not be in the position where we're in now. And
I wouldn't have cried in my shower, Johannes. I'll tell you that for free.
No, exactly. And I still keep in touch with some of the guys. I mean, a few of the nicest people we ever met in the business. We met we're Earache staff, so I have nothing against them at all. It was more of yesterday I said we wrote a 5-album deal, which couldn't be the case. At least a 4-album deal, and that was one of the reasons why we kept such an insane pace when it came to releasing records. I mean, The Beyond came out in 2003, Salvation 2004, and then 2006 came Somewhere Along the Highway, and 2008 we did Eternal Kingdom. I mean, that's 4 albums in how many years? 3. Yeah, it's 6 years or something.
Yeah.
It's insane. But it kind of put pressure on us because we wanted to be be free as soon as possible. Just so we had the options to do other stuff, as long as you're have a record deal with people having the rights to your next record, you're not really free. And after that, I mean, when we took like a 5-year hiatus or something like that, a few years at least. And when we started shopping for labels, I mean, Eric were definitely free to put in an offer, but we decided to go with another label, Indie Recordings, that we have nothing negative to say. But at that point, we also did something that we should have done years ago, and that was getting a manager. Up until then, we've done everything ourselves, like every boring aspect of being a band, all this stuff that I hate, that and that I basically knew nothing about. We did ourselves. So after that, I've tried to stay away from the record label thing and just solely concentrated on the music. And after that, we're actually still on Metal Blade, and they were nice enough to let us do this. I mean, that's a pretty big thing for a label to let their band, just wander off and do this crazy project.
So you are they releasing this in the States? Or are you just doing this whole thing yourself?
We're doing it ourselves, but they're helping us with distribution in the States.
Oh, it's just like an imprint of Metal Blade or something.
Yeah.
Cool. You got any other bands on the label? You going to sign some?
So at this point, I'm learning. It's basically most of the heavy lifting is done by me and our manager. And actually, to be quite honest, it's our manager that knows the business way better than any of us do. So he's done most of the setting up distributors and all that boring stuff, and I've been stuck with the paperwork. So I'm learning, and there's a lot of things that I had no idea you had to do as a record label, but now I know. One of the things is that you need shitloads of money, and we were lucky enough to have Cult of Luna as a first artist, so we could get some money in the bank, and hopefully, we have a couple of releases that's coming up down the road that are pretty secure when it comes to getting the money back, and hopefully in the future we'll have enough money so we can take some more chances, so we can afford to lose some money. Because if there's one thing that I really want to do is help other bands get a platform, to at least help them get the recognition they deserve. And also, since we are an artist, that's where we're from. We are not, and we're not in any shape or form or planning to make this our living. We can afford to give better deals. So we have an artist point of view and perspective of this whole thing. So yeah, that's the long run. In the long run, we're definitely going to try to to sign artists that we believe in and that we think fit in our kind of realm of music. But it can be metal, it can be, I don't care what genre it is, as long as it's in the same, it comes from, I don't know,
Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden.
As long as it comes from Sweden, I don't give a fuck.
I wouldn't mind, but it needs to at least carry the same atmosphere or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less. It would be crazy if you signed like some fucking just like Taylor Swift sounding thing. Not that that's a bad thing, but like it would just be insane. Like, have you seen that new Cult of Luna label signing? Strange. It would seem like some sort of weird like satire on culture. Actually, it'd probably be genius.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
When Taylor Swift signs. Okay, right.
Yes.
Give me some of your. Can you give me your top 5 artists of all time? Let me throw that in right at the end, and then we're gonna go.
Oh yeah, I mean that all depends on what day of the week and what week.
I know.
Of the year
So
and
what day is it now? What day is it now? Just give me 5. You must have at least 3 that are always the same. Do you want me to do? I'll give you my 3 that I know are always the same.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
My 3 that are always the same, and then I have 2 that are rotating. I have 3 that are like. They were just probably my first loves in music, and I will always listen to them all the time, which is actually, funnily enough, Metallica, Radiohead, and Meshuggah. They're my 3 like holy grail bands. I'll never not listen to them.
By the way, you know that Meshuggah is from the same city as we are.
I didn't even get to go into it. There's a lot of good music from the same city.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is Raised Fist from the same city?
No, they're from the neighboring town, 4 hours up north.
But that whole. Go on, reel off some names for me. Who you got?
I mean Radiohead for sure. I mean that's I would say the only 2 I can think of. Because if, in some sense, I would like you to limit genre-wise, because if we would talk punk and hardcore, I would have three bands. If we would talk metal, I would have 3 bands. If we would talk different genres, I like.
Yeah, but I've got Radiohead next to Meshuggah. Am I allowed that?
Yeah. Okay, I would say Joy Division.
Ooh, nice.
Radiohead. That I always go back to.
I mean, now you can put some punk and hardcore in. You don't have to. Now I've got those 2. It's cool that it's Radiohead as well.
But the thing is, okay, so I'm kind of a nostalgic person, and I just started snowboarding again after 25 years, and for some strange reason I started to listen to Bad Religion, Pennywise, and all these like Fat Record, No Effects, and all these.
Nice.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say. I mean, you cannot put them next to Joy Division or
yeah, you
Radiohead.
can. That's the spirit of Cult of Luna. Put Radiohead next to fucking Lagwagon.
Yeah, I used to listen quite a lot to them when I was skateboarding when I was like 12, 13 years old.
Hang on. A Millencolin. Who's the Swedish band on Fat Wreck?
Oh, yeah, Millencolin. No, they were. I think they were on Epitaph.
But Millencolin are Swedish.
Yeah, they're from the city of the best gym you ever been to, Örebro.
Oh, fuck yeah! Treasure Fest. That was in that's Örebro.
Yeah. Oh God, a third band like. I mean, I go back to Uncle a lot.
Nice. I was talking about Uncle yesterday.
Yeah. But I wouldn't. If I really would make a list of the most important bands. Okay, look. There's this hardcore band that they were not really hardcore though. They were from the hardcore scene, but they were more metal. They called Unbroken from San Diego.
Yeah.
That's probably the band that have had the biggest impact on like anything that I've ever done since. And their album Life, Love, Regret is by far the most influential album for me. That's the album, or that's the music that I try to copy when I started learning how to write. So,
man, that's like one of those, like Orange County hardcore. Is that San Diego count as Orange County? Like the
no. They're from San Diego, and they sound like nothing from that period. It's metal, but it's definitely not metalcore. Definitely not. I think that they definitely, in some senses, kind of they were an influence to a lot of bands that were they were one of the first hardcore bands that was definitely like influenced by Slayer. But they're very slow. They're very slow. But yeah, I mean, look, I go back to Slayer all the day.
Okay, so right, you can cut it there because now I just need to know your favorite Slayer album and I need to know your favorite Radiohead album.
No,
and then I can let you go.
Okay, look, I'm gonna say, you have the classic Slayer albums, but I'm gonna say something that might offend a lot of people. I really think it's not the best because they've made a lot of great albums, and I know a friend that's going to implode when I say this because
Can I guess what you're going to say?
Yes.
It's not an old classic Slayer album.
Yes.
It is, or it isn't?
It's not. Is it
God Hates Us All?
Yes.
The album fucking rules.
Yes.
It's so good.
It's so good. And I have that on heavy rotation when I'm lifting weights.
Same. Man, the song Disciple is probably my favorite Slayer song ever.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that it's the best, but it's definitely up there with the best.
I fully fucking agree, and I have so many friends that would also implode. That's how I knew what it was. I was like, he's gonna say it. You got Bloodline, you got Exile. Exile was like one of the fucking, lyrically, one of the most angry fucking songs ever.
Yeah. It's favorite Radiohead albums, also very hard. I would probably
let me guess this one, and if I get this one right, then we need to be best friends. That's the rule.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
I got two. One's a classic, and one is, still a classic, but not as classic. Now, I feel like you're I feel like you're an In Rainbows guy.
All the albums are amazing, but
come on, what were you gonna say?
Amnesiac. Fuck. And I can actually say that Radiohead probably the bands that have had the biggest impact on our writing is probably Radiohead and Mayhem and Dark Throne. And
that's a fucking
not
difference.
musically. Yeah, not musically, but when we started this band, me and Eric, the other guitar player at the time, we got very intrigued by Mayhem's use of open chords. So we have we very rarely use just regular power chords. There's a lot of open chords, open minor chords. And when it comes to Radiohead, if you listen to I Might Be Wrong, that song, that kind of way of playing with just basically using one string as a bass and then kind of do some kind of answering with open strings. I think you're going to hear that. If you think of it, I think you're going to hear that in a lot of our songs. And it's kind of become an integrated part of the way that both me and Fredrik writes. So, I mean, musically, we are very different from both Radiohead and Mayhem, but they've influenced us in the way we use the instrument.
And that's probably why I like your band so much, because Radiohead's one of my favourite bands of all time, and I also love black metal. So you've perfectly taken the two of those without taking them, and made a little band for me to listen to.
Yeah.
And on that note, my friend, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're 1 hour 40 minutes down the line.
That's a Cult of Luna album of a podcast.
Yeah.
Let's bring back everybody. We'll just say the word Deadlift now, but differently, and then we've done a Cult of Luna album.
Deadlift.
It's been you did it, man. It's been a fucking absolute pleasure. I'm sorry if I fangirled, and you can go back and listen to my podcast, and there's people from Slipknot on here and stuff, and.
Should we talk Slipknot before we go?
Okay.
I'm actually a fan. Sometimes there's there's these albums that it kind of it's a slap in the face, and you realize that that things that you thought had pretty much being pushed as far as it can get pushed, and then somebody no, this is how we can do it too. And the first Slipknot album, I can't remember when it came out, 2000?
99.
Sounds like that, yeah. I remember hearing it for the first time, getting floored getting floored as you only could be when you were 20 and were still discovering new music. What the hell is this?
Yeah. And
the first first 5-6 tracks on that album, it's actually on heavy rotation still in my workout routine.
I love that you have very similar lifting tracks to me. You're right. Yeah. After the 6th track, it gets a little bit. This was made in 1999. Some of the later ones as well, though. But I mean, fucking back then, it's here's 20 songs and fucking 5 of them are weird noises. But definitely those first 5 and fucking Iowa. And when I was growing up, still on the lifting playlist, 100%.
Yeah, and I actually, I'm every now and then. I listen to them in a non-lifting environment. It all depends on which mood I'm in. If it's Radiohead, or if it's Seal and Ardor, or if it's very different. I have a very wide variety when it comes to taste in music, and I still, after 41 years, haven't figured out the common denominator. But there's something. I think it's the minor chord that attracts me.
I think because I'm a drummer, so I don't know fucking anything. But I think whatever attracts you to it attracts me to it, and that's why I like your band, and that's why we can bond over fucking God Hates Us All, when most people would be no fucking way, Season in the Abyss, or fuck off. I love it. I fucking love it. Right, I'm going to let you go, my man. This has been fucking sick. If you can email me your file, I'm going to try and get this up. It all depends on Knotfest, but I will try and get this up. On release date,
if not very shortly afterwards.
Yes, just send me a text or email when it's up, and hopefully I didn't fuck up the sound. We'll see.
If you did,
we'll do it again.
I don't care. Yeah, it's been a fucking pleasure, my friend. Enjoy your lifting.
I do. I will.
I hope that 250 deadlift is coming your way.
Not anytime soon, but in a couple of years' time, maybe.
Nice one, man. Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.